Yo, what up, what up, what up, people? It's your boys, the trio that can't be stopped. It's the No Man Fantasy Podcast, man. We're at episode 8. You better hear it. 8 people. We're here. We're at the halfway point. It's your boy, your ace, Mitch Aber, in the house. We got my man downstairs. What's up, baby? What's up, Wes?
What up? What up? What's going on? Let's get this week over with.
Yeah.
I took an L this week. I need to bounce back.
Hey, man, I'm happy, man. I'm happy about this week. We'll talk about why I'm happy in a little bit. But we got, as always, man to my right-hand man, my man G. What up, baby?
Chilling, man. Having a good day. Ready for this election to be over, and
Yes,
looking forward to a new week of football because last week sucked on all fronts for me.
Well, hey, you know what? It is the election day. Shout out to the candidates. Shout out, make fantasy football great again. That's what we're here for, man. Vote for us. Vote for
Don't
us.
start. Don't start.
Don't start.
I had to throw that in there, but yeah, it was a crazy week. We got some more injuries. We got a bunch of COVID people. We got a lot to talk about, so we'll get into it. And one thing that we're definitely going to talk about, we'll kind of adjust some time for it, is I want to talk about the lack, and I mean the lack of trade talk and action and all that stuff. So we'll get into that. Well, as always, we'll start off. We're gonna change it up a little bit with our recaps. We'll talk about some of the fantasy implications of some games that we each chose. We'll each talk about those individually. We'll go into Are You Serious? There's a whole bunch of them that we can do. We could do a whole podcast on straight Are You Serious this week. Then we'll do the yes ma'ams, no ma'ams, and we'll go into what the next week brings. We're deep into the bye weeks right now, and then we'll go into no ma'am. God, I hate fantasy football. But yeah, we're gonna start. G, I'm gonna let you start off, man. Give me some games that you that you had your eye on, and then you got some the fantasy studs, duds, and all that in between.
Yep. So, I mean, the first game I want to talk about, man, is the Steelers-Ravens. Great game, close game. It was back and forth. I mean, it wasn't a spectacular game at the end of the day, but it was a good, hard-fought game, division game. Baltimore coming off a bye week. Pittsburgh coming off a tough game last week against Tennessee that they pulled out again barely after being up a lot, letting Tennessee come all the way back. It was kind of reversed this week where Baltimore was up, not by a lot, but they was up with the majority of the game. And then Pittsburgh came back at the end, threw that touchdown to Claypool. And, they making plays at the end of the day. But I think the biggest issue with this game for Baltimore was the turnovers. Lamar Jackson, 200 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, had 3 fumbles, lost 2 of them. Wow. So he had 4 turnovers. And, a team like Pittsburgh that can score with pretty much anybody, whether they're running, whether they throw in to Claypool, to Johnson, to Juju. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got weapons everywhere. And, yeah, man, I mean, Baltimore killed them on the ground, 265 rush yards against Pitt, who had the number 1 rush D coming into the game. And Pittsburgh only had a measly, 50 yards rushing or something, just under 50 yards. So, yeah, man, it was, like I said, not a great game statistically for pretty much anybody, any one player. But it was just a good, hard-fought division game. And, Pittsburgh did enough to pull it out again, took advantage of them turnovers.
Who was the fantasy studs in that game, though?
I mean, Lamar. I mean, the receiver from Baltimore, Snead had a decent game.
He had a good game.
He had 100 yards receiving. But, I mean, it wasn't really – Claypool had 13 because he had a fumble.
I think that they were running, too.
Yeah. They were running – I mean, Baltimore
backs
ran the clock pretty much. Baltimore had 265 yards. Yeah. J.K. had 113. Gus had 80-something with a touchdown for about 15 fantasy points. So, I mean, it wasn't a great game by any means for no one, I don't think. But,
yeah,
I mean, Pittsburgh made the plays, man, got it done.
Yeah. Well, any other game that you had?
Oh yeah, I had the Dolphins Rams. That was my second game.
Nice. That was a good game.
That was my upset of the week last week. I said the Dolphins are going to
He
beat the
did
Rams.
call it. He did call it, man.
And I tell you, man, hey, they pulled it out. Tua, 93 yards passing, didn't do much in his debut. Only got sacked one time though. Did throw that touchdown to Devontae, which was the only thing Devontae Parker did the whole game. Goff didn't have a great game. He moved the ball down the field. The issue was he kept turning it over. Again, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles lost, only 14 fantasy points. Cooper Kupp, though, 21 targets. 21 targets.
And he
11 catches
11
for
catches.
110 yards. He had 21 fantasy points. The Robert Woods had, a touchdown, 75 yards receiving, so he was about 21 fantasy points also. Other than that, man, Dolphins defense and Dolphins special team was the key in this game. 4 turnovers by Goff. They moved the ball down the field, like I said, but ultimately, that second quarter doomed them. Goff got sacked by Van Ginkel, brought it back 78 yards. Whoever started the Dolphins defense was loving it. They got over 20 fantasy points.
Well, so can I ask you this though? I mean, is that a defense to stream moving forward, or is it just a kind of hype of a game?
I mean, the last 3 weeks they put up points. Last 3 weeks they've been putting up points. The defense, I mean, the head coach is a defensive guy. Remember, Brian Flores is a defensive guy over in New England.
Right.
So he's trying to build that. They spent a lot of money on their cornerbacks, on their DBs. Like they put a lot of money into that defense this year. So it's starting to pay off now. They moved the game over 500 at 4-3. Every game has been competitive for them this year, besides a 10-point loss to New England in week 1. But I mean, they're looking solid. If Tua can hold up, be a game manager, that defense can force turnovers. I mean, that could be a team that could surprise some people, man.
There you go. Wes, what do you got, man?
I'll start with Vikings Packers. And all I got to say, you want to talk about Russ cooking? How about Devontae
Adams.
cooking? 30 carries, 163. He had 3 on the ground. He had 1 catching, but he had 4 touchdowns on the day. Dalvin Cook, man, he the best, man. I know Kamara doing his thing, catching the passes, but Dalvin Cook, man, you give him the rock. I don't care who he's playing against. He's dominant. He may not be healthy all the time. He may not finish the game, but he's legit. Like, if I have to play against him, I'd be worried. Like, whatever his projection is, I'd be worried because I don't trust Kirk Cousins enough to keep the receivers involved, Thielen and the rookie Jefferson every week. But I know Dalvin Cook in there, he's the one that's going to be cooking. He's the one, he's the engine on that team. And Favre played well too. Favre. That's how old I am. I call Favre. But no, what's his name? Damn it. Aaron Rodgers. He played good too. He had about 3 touchdowns, but they just couldn't stop the run, and it's more of an eye-opening thing for me coming up this Thursday, because they got the Thursday game and they play San Francisco, and we probably get into that later. But if they can't stop the run, man, that's how you keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, and you ain't got to worry about him. Just run the ball, keep him off the field. I think that's the formula to beating Green Bay, whether that's now or in the playoffs, because they didn't make no free agency moves today, no trades and nothing. So, second game, I don't know why we didn't bring it up early in the meeting, G. Raiders in Cleveland.
Yeah, man.
Ultimately, it was an ugly game. We talked about it briefly that the wind was a major factor in that one. If you kind of see the field goal kicking, and it was everything going to the left.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much a running game. I'm glad my man Jacobs got off. I'm glad we can contain Hunt. And I got to give it to the defense coordinator, man. He had a good game plan against Baker. Like, it looked like they just blitzed him, and it was like, hey, we don't think you're going to throw it deep in this wind. And they just kind of sat on everything short. And so, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily him and his game plan. He had weather assistance. that no team could throw it deep in that wind.
Right.
zone.
You can't. That eliminates it from both sides. I
Yeah.
mean, both sides, both offenses were stymied with that. So.
Yeah.
Correct. So and let me say this one thing. I used to think I knew what a catch was, except when I watched that Oakland Cleveland, because I thought Ruggs had a touchdown. I thought Jarvis Landry had a touchdown, and I know Renfro didn't have a touchdown.
Absolutely. I said the same damn thing.
I was
That
like, what the
whole
hell's
back
going
of the
on?
ball hit the ground. The whole back of the ball hit the ground. I seen it too.
I give up. Like I said, the instant replay, no matter how many angles they show it, I give up. Like I said, hey, whatever the refs call it, I'm down with it. But
It was funny because with that Renfro touchdown, non-touchdown, or whatever, the weather was so bad at that time when that play happened. Like that call was like, look, let's just get the fuck out of here. Like we're done. Like,
Yeah, because I mean,
just call a touchdown, keep it moving.
They had the one angle from the back. Just that one angle showed the whole ball hit the ground.
Right.
And I said, I yelled the whole time, and then I was like, you know what, it is what it is. You can't do nothing about it. Again, the refs control the game.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to talk about two games. First game I'll talk about is the game from last night, the Monday night game, the Giants-Bucks game.
Is that a pass interference? That's what
yes.
throw that.
Let Mitch go, because I got something to say about that in a little bit.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later. From the Giants' perspective, you had Tate, who had 11 points. You had Shepard, who had 15. Danny Dimes had 22, and Ingram had 12. Kind of a balance. Nothing. No crazy bells and whistles on that. The Bucks, on the other hand, Brady had 23 points. He only had a point more than Daniel Jones. Fournette had 10. Jones had 6. So the running game was Gronk had a decent game. Few critical catches that from what I was watching. He got open over the middle. There was one play that I really liked that Brady was in the pocket, went through his progressions, and he saw Gronk just kind of moving towards the middle, and he just let him right there. It was a good catch, good throw, good catch. Mike Evans, 16 points. He played really well. It was watching that game for a lot of things. Obviously, they were missing Chris Godwin, getting ready to bring on AB and everybody like that. And so I'm kind of checking out like who was truly going to lack when he joins that team, and it's going to be the running game. I mean, they're going to use that running game so sparingly, unless they're facing a defense with some really good backs, and they're going to switch it up. I'll be honest. I mean, looked at Bruce Arians a lot last night, and he confused the crap out of me with some of the play calls that he was making. And then that, yes, at the end of the game when he went for the field goal to go up by 8, and not, you think about it like this. Brady was not happy with that decision at all. You could see on Brady because they called the timeout, and then Brady was just like, "What?" But if he didn't make that call, they lose the game. They lose the game. That was a pretty impressive drive. Golden Tate to me is very underrated, and I think that he is getting once he gets healthier. Him and Daniel Jones will start to develop that relationship a little bit more, but just an average game, good game. It was a good way to end out the week fantasy wise. I mean, I pulled out a victory in another league with Ronald Jones. Thankfully, he only got 6 points, but thank God he got those 6 points. That helped me out. But yeah, nothing really special in that game. Evan Ingram. I'm very surprised he didn't get moved today. I'm very surprised because I mean he's just not that good. I mean he just does not know how to run a good route. I mean that's what I think a lot of
all this volume and he does nothing.
Nothing with it.
He's so frustrating to have.
Right, and because they keep on going back to him, and that's the frustrating part about it, because he's creating separation. He's open, but if it's like. You know what I noticed last night? I don't know if you guys noticed it too, that if it's not an easy catch for him, he tries to make it extra difficult. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You're right,
so
too.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And the other game I'm going to talk about, it had me smiling, but I'll tell you this: I had about anywhere between 7 to 8 mini heart attacks watching that game on Sunday. Those boys right there, baby. They just showed some grit and determination, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I watched a lot of that game. Um, to have third and fourth string guys in there on the offensive line and not give up one sack to Joe. That was, like I said, talking before we started the meeting, the podcast. The first week that Joe Burrow has not been sacked. I mean, to come out and beat a team like Tennessee, they're a good team. I mean, Derrick Henry still ran the ball like a champion. I mean, he wound up having 17 points, not his typical 45-point game or whatever. But they're just a solid team, but they just had no answer for Joe. Joe Burrow, I mean, he had another really good game, 2 touchdown passes. He had 22, almost 23 fantasy points. Gio Bernard, look, I'm gonna say this, man, and I know it's gonna probably come off stupid or whatever, but last year, Zach Taylor's first year as the coach never used Gio. I mean, Gio was the most underutilized person, and he was healthy all season. He was not hurt at all last year. They never used him. Right now, Joe had a good season. He was doing his thing or whatever. But it just shows the character of a man when when your number is called, and you 2 weeks in a row over 20 points that Gio's had. Tyler had another good day, 19 points. Did you see that catch by Higgins though? That toe drag swag.
Yeah.
That was special. And it was. I don't know if Joe was trying to throw the ball out of bounds, but T wasn't having it. He's like, I'm going to catch that ball at the highest point. And what happens, happens. But dude, Davis on the Titans, Corey Davis, he's an animal, dude. He had 26 points again this week.
Yeah.
He's just, I mean, and AJ Brown's having a good game too. I mean, he had 12 points. He had a touchdown. Tannehill was Tannehill. I mean, he had kind of an average day, nothing really special. But I just but to me, the biggest. I had 3 disappointments in that game, of just true fantasy duds in that game. First is Drew Sample, 0 points. I mean, they're not even looking at him. Like, not even looking at him. AJ Green with a measly 3.9, and then Jonnu Smith with 4.9.
Yeah. There's a new one too in Cincy, man. Tyler Boyd and Higgins.
Oh yeah.
Much done over there, man.
Yeah, which again, which we'll talk about in a little bit with our talking about the trade deadline is how do you not move a guy like that? Like, I mean, just get something for him. But we'll discuss that in a little bit. But yeah, that's it for the recap. It was a weird fantasy week. I mean, I know there's other guys out there. Gina, you're the stats guy of the crew. Who was the highest fantasy guy of the week last week?
Oh, the highest was Dalvin Cook, man, 48.6, 226 yards total, 163 rushing, 63 receiving, 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 in the air.
That's awesome.
What I was going to say a little bit ago about when you said that game, Kirk Cousins had 14 pass attempts the whole game because all they did was run the ball. They couldn't be stopped. Keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, score a touchdown, eat up 10 minutes out of the clock. Why not? They did it every time.
I wonder what the time possession was.
Pat Mahomes, 416 pass yards, 5 touchdowns, had 46.
Didn't even play the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
dude, did you see the touchdown to Kelsey? You see how he kind of like flipped it? Just like they were clowning. They were clowning the Jets.
DK stepped up from last week. They flip-flopped him and Lockett this week. Lockett only had like 7. He was a dud this week with 4 for 33 for 7 points. And Metcalf had 12 for 161, 2 touchdowns, 40 fantasy points. Devontae again, another stud this week again like last week. 30 fantasy points, measly 53 yards receiving, 7 catches, but 3 of them for touchdowns. So obviously, you know who the ball's going to in Green Bay, always and only, because they ain't got nothing else.
Well, you know, Tanyan, Robbie Tanyan, he had a decent game. He had like 11 points, you know, but
Russ, the final stud of the day, Russ Wilson had 261, 4 TDs, 37 fantasy points.
I know he had 37 fantasy points. We'll talk about that in a minute.
And then the duds of the week, I already said Lockett. Deontay Johnson, 1 catch for 4 yards, really.
Yeah.
1 catch for 4 fucking yards. I could have did better than that, dude. I could have caught a 6-yarder at least. Really? And then
little slant over the middle, G over the middle, you know.
Josh Allen, another struggle, another no passing touchdown game, 154 passing yards, a pick. He did run one in, 13.6 fantasy points. That's a dud. And Josh, and you know what's funny is from week 3, I believe, if you look at his fantasy
declining,
every single week has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Every single week has gone down. But they said he had like something on his shoulder, and until that comes off, until he got like something that he's wearing. And they said
like a brace or something.
So they said until that comes off, which should be this week or next week, he's going to not be very effective, they say. Jonathan Taylor, I think he lost that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
I think he lost that workhorse back to Jordan Wilkins and Naeem Hines. He had 22 yards rushing, 2 catches, 9 yards for 5 fantasy points.
I know. Naeem Hines doing flips in the end zone.
Dude did a 360, like jumping into the end zone. Like, okay, you can have that one.
Yeah.
But Wilkins had 100 yards rushing almost or something like that.
Yeah, they were running. They were running tough.
And then Ronald Jones, the last one, man, 23 yards rushing, 4 catches for 23, receiving 6 fantasy points.
I'm gonna give
I said to sit him. If you listen to me, you should be okay.
I had no choice in another league, man. I'm giving him the Donkey of the Week award, man. Forget that. Actually, I'm gonna give that to Bruce Arians. Just because the guy fumbled, you take him out the rest of the game and put in Fournette. Yeah. Boo. All right, well let's get into at least my favorite segment. Are you serious? Are you serious? And my man looks jazzed today. I'm just gonna be honest. He looks jazzed. So you got a lot in your mind. I'm gonna take the mic and I'm just gonna pass it to you, my friend. G, what's on your mind, man? Are you serious today?
NFL, are you serious? I mean, that last play of that game. This is why I told you, just let Mitch talk. Remember earlier, because I had something to say about this last play. And the last play of the game between the G-men and the Bucks, if it was the other way around and Brady was throwing that pass, that's a pass interference. There's no huddle. There's nothing else. As soon as he threw that ball and they even got close to getting to him, it would have been a pass interference because he dropped it. Unfortunately, they didn't do that last night, and that was the deciding factor. Again, that the referees controlling the game. It was clear and obvious. He got there before the ball. He touched him before the ball hit his arm, which means what? Even if you touch me, we're outside of 5 yards.
It's a
penalty.
Right.
It's a penalty. I believe they should have let these guys get that pass interference call, hopefully get that 2-point conversion and go to overtime. I mean, the G-men had so many opportunities to win this game, and unfortunately, freaking Daniel Jones was Daniel Jones most of the night, but that last play was ridiculous. That last drive, by the way, they converted on 4th down, the Giants,
like
3 times.
3 times, yep.
Once on 4th and 18. I mean, come on, NFL. These guys fought so hard to score that last touchdown. They did. And you guys basically said, you guys take another loss, which I'm sure they don't mind because they're trying to get more. But, I mean, still, come on, man. For the fans. You got to let this go for the fans, man.
So after that game last night, right, I sat back and I kept on rewinding it and kind of seeing, could they, what was the logic, right? And so the only thing that I could say was that ball was thrown a little bit behind the receiver, like even behind the defender a little bit. So, but still, it was clear and obvious.
He was late because he was wide open for a minute.
Yeah, he was totally wide open.
Still.
You need to call that. I mean, it was clear and just totally obvious that.
I mean, just on the last drive alone, they should have got that call. I mean,
Right,
just how
right.
they moved that ball that last drive, you should have rewarded them with that call.
Right. I totally agree. Wes, are you serious?
I'm going to go to the Philly-Dallas game, and I'm not going to go with the obvious, thinking I'm going to pick on
Danucci.
Dallas.
Big Danucci.
No. I'm going at Carson Wentz. I don't know how many of us got Carson Wentz in the league, but if you've seen that game, like the first half, like some of the turnovers he was taking, that's some rookie shit. Like holding the ball out here while the defender is reading down your face. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like some of the decisions he's making, and this is week after week after week. Like, I know he's reading the papers, and I'm like, they're talking about ball security. You got to protect the ball. I mean, yeah, they won by 14? It doesn't look as close as the score indicated, but Dallas was in that game.
They were in that game most of the game.
They were in that game because Carson Wentz kept turning the ball over. And I'm like, dude, you're the better quarterback here. Protect the ball. Take your team down there, get some points, and put the pressure on this third-string quarterback.
I mean, Danucci threw more yards than him.
Yeah.
The big Danucci, baby. I love that guy.
Nah, he
already got benched, though. He already got benched.
He not ready, though. I already saw that. That was my streaming defense of the week.
It's almost like Carson Wentz it's like every week he's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Like
making the same mistake.
What are you doing? You're not this is like his fourth, sixth year in the league, fifth year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, it's time to like either you're gonna be good or there's a lot of young kids coming out that are gonna
he's gonna definitely. I mean, Jalen Hurts is on his team. He's gonna lose his job to him.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Hey, we'll see.
All right. Well, my are you serious is it's a little sentimental. It's a little it's a little heartwarming. I don't know what to say. I mean, I think it was hilarious. Are you serious? Chicago Bears wide receiver Wims, whatever.
Oh yeah,
Devon Wims.
Okay. So first off, it's beautiful that you want to defend. You want to defend your guy, right? I get it. You want to defend your guy on your team.
It might be closer than you think.
Right. Right. I mean, I don't know what's going down. I don't know if you guys are in a secret relationship or anything like that. But my "Are you serious?" is more of who taught you how to throw a punch? Like, first off, well,
you got a helmet on. You got to use the hand, like the. Use that. You can't do the fist.
But he punched him the first time. He swung a punch.
Right.
Why would you punch a helmet, stupid?
Right. Like seriously, dude. Like, do you not know where you are? Like, rip the helmet off first, and then just jack him one time. But here's my thing. My true "Are you serious?"
Who did that? Hold on, Mitch. Hold on. Who did that? Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan back in the day. He ripped the helmet off and was just pounding.
Shout out to Andre Johnson, baby. You did
Myles Garrett likes to use the helmet, though. Myles Garrett likes to use it. He don't just rip it off. He uses
it. But here's my thing. You do it in front of everybody. And then you're walking on the field like, what? What did I do? Dude, you just threw two punches. Now, I will say this. The guy who he did slap, they showed the film earlier in the game.
Michael Thomas is the one that punched him, too.
Yeah, when he tried to take his mouthpiece out of it, he walked up to him, he was like, hey, you know. So I get it, but come on, man. Are you serious? Fighting like that in the NFL? I mean, it to me, that I don't know if it would so much cost him the game, but I mean, it definitely didn't help.
Called for, man.
It's retarded. It's stupid. It's totally stupid.
That guy's known to get under people's skin. That's the guy Thomas punched in the face during practice a few weeks back. But I mean, it's one thing to get under somebody's skin, but at the end of the day, it's a game, right? It's a game. Right. Like, you guys are playing football, playing something you guys love to do. There's no room for that in the league, man. That's just – and he's lucky to only get 2 games.
Well, what gets me is what he should have done. I'm glad you said that, G, because what he should have done is gone back into the huddle, say to Nicky Foles, say, listen, dude, this dude's driving me nuts today. Give me a ball over the top. Let me score on this punk. Let us win this game. But no, he has to resort to stupidity, violence. But But then they wonder why. Then they wonder why NFL players get bad raps while these millionaires get bad raps, because you make stupid decisions. That's why.
You talking like Nick Foles had the will to win that game, dude.
I'm saying, hey, the power of suggestion can help sometimes, okay? I didn't say
Nick the ball. Man, look, I can't, man. I ain't gonna get it to you.
See this O-line?
He's not gonna say that, Wes. I mean, come on, dude.
He might have said it. He might have told him that in the huddle. How do we know he didn't ask him in the huddle? Like, yo, Nick.
All I'm saying is this. All you gotta do is ask. You gotta say, hey, Nick, you think you can throw me the ball? Maybe. I don't know, buddy. But we talked about this last week. Are you serious? Love you, are you serious? But I'm sorry to get rid of you so fast. We started talking about this last week about what today was, and not just the election day, but today was the trade deadline. And Genus and I were talking about this before we got started. I had my phone out all day, working from home. Just chilling. I had my phone up. The NFL Network had specials. ESPN had specials on the trade deadline, and nothing. It's just so disappointing because because I don't want to hear any team complain. Oh, we didn't get anything for this guy, because you could have traded him and got something for him. Like, give me a break. Like we talked about Stephon Gilmore. They were asking for a player and a first-round pick. Yes, he's good. He's not that good. You're not trading.
He was Defensive Player of the Year last year, but that was last year, right? This is a whole new year. He's a high-priced player. So now you want me to take on a huge salary. You want me to give you a young piece and my number one next year. Like,
no way.
I'm crippling myself at that point.
Right. And then Houston was asking for a king's ransom for Will Fuller. Am I missing something? Look, Will Fuller is he's a good receiver, but he's the ultimate boomer bust guy.
He's just always injury prone. This is the first year that he's basically not injured.
But you know what they need to understand? This is what bothers me about these teams and these GMs that they don't understand is when this week happens, right? The trade deadline week, whatever, the week and a half, week before it happens, you get all these trade rumors that Will Fuller is going to get moved and Will Fuller is going to get moved. What does that do for his psyche moving forward? Well, this team really doesn't want me.
Well, he's a free agent at the end of the year. The problem is, I think that's the biggest issue, Mitch, is that a lot of the players like AJ Green, like Will Fuller, and some other pending free agents that are going to be out of deals next year. They're like, someone like Green Bay is like, why are we going to give up like a third or fourth round guy for this guy that we're going to have for 8 games? If we don't win a championship, we bust, right? Basically, we can't look at. They're looking into the future versus Aaron Rodgers wants to win now, and you can tell he's a little frustrated because he don't have the weapons that he should have. Being a great they're basically wasting Aaron Rodgers' talent because he's not a young guy. No. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 37? He's not a young guy, so you only got so many years of being good, right? Just because lately a lot of quarterbacks have hit 40 like the Brees and the Bradys, that doesn't mean it's going to happen for everybody.
No. And he gets hit a lot. He's been injured a lot. But here's the problem. I'm glad you brought up Aaron Rodgers because the Bengals were – look, John Ross made it clear, I do not want to play here. If you're not going to use me, trade me. And I respect that. I like John Ross. Does not understand what a route is, but, I mean, I get it. That's fine. You're a fast guy. That's what Aaron Rodgers needed. He needed a guy like that. Not saying that John Ross is the answer for him.
Yeah.
But he would have fit in there well. The Bengals were asking for a 6th-round pick for him, and they declined it. You can't be picking and choosing. You need something right now. Yeah. He got spoiled with Cobb and what was the white boy's name from back in the day?
Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson. Okay, he got spoiled having those two guys for a good amount of years, and that were his, and now he has Devontae, but he doesn't have anyone to pair up with Devontae. He uses Aaron Jones like that a lot, but with Aaron being out, it's hurting him. But I don't understand no moves. I mean, there could have been, the J.J. Watt move would have made sense for him to go somewhere. I get what you're saying, that you don't want to invest or give up too much of your future for a guy that you're going to get,
for rental.
For 8 games. Basically. I get it. But any big names that are worth a damn, like a J.J. Watt, for instance, you get a J.J. Watt, the first thing you do is sit down and be like, all right, J.J., what do you want? And work towards that. Because J.J. Watt is an animal. I don't care what team he's on, the guy's going to produce.
If he can stay healthy. I mean, he's a little over the hill, too. I think a lot of these pieces we'll see moving during draft time, just because I think there's more leverage for teams and players. And, I mean, just both teams like, okay, well, now we see how things are shaking out at the end of the offseason. And another reason I think it is also, Mitch, the lack of trades this year is because of COVID. I mean,
well, no, you can't. Right.
You don't know. They're talking salary cap going down. They don't want to take on more salary. They don't want to take on a player past a year. A lot of teams. I mean, unless you're like a Tampa Bay or something like that, that's willing to take on whatever salary possible because they're trying to win this year. Right. But most other teams are like, you still got KC out there. You got Tampa out there. You got Buffalo playing good. You got Pittsburgh undefeated. It's like, are we really going to beat those teams? So let's not go out there and make no moves like this right now.
Well, like you said, the COVID is the X factor, because if you get a guy from another team right now, he can't play for 10 days.
Yep.
Because he has to go through your team's protocol and make sure that he's not bringing
positive. They have to quarantine for 10 days if they're positive.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the trade deadline thing, though, just and from a fantasy perspective as well. I mean, we're not in an IDP league, so none of the defensive guy matters. But I was hoping for some just switch up, but we didn't get it.
One thing I'll say real quick on that is that I was looking at my phone, right, like every hour and a half. I'm like, damn, no alerts. Did I turn off my notifications? I go to my notifications, like, no, just no activity.
Right. It was bad. I mean, it was. I mean, like I said, I had my phone next to me all day while I was working, and I had it on. I had it on my good old Spectrum app. And
Stop. No free advertising here.
Free advertising right there, buddy. And I was going back between the NFL Network and ESPN, and it was just like, well, Adam Schefter was like, well, I'm hearing this, but it's nothing. I'm hearing this, but nothing. I'm hearing this. I'm like,
yeah.
I just don't get it. I mean, I just, to counter what you said, Doji, is that I think there's teams that need to make a splash. Some teams that are right there on the cusp. Again, we got 8 games left. There's a lot of football left. But
you can still get some good players off of the waiver, though, because guys are starting to get cut also.
True.
Like there was 2 guys that got cut today. One went, I think, New England picked one up or something and put him right on the 53-man roster. So there's guys that are getting cut also at this point of the year. So that may help. So yeah.
Well, and I don't want to do anything spontaneous on you guys, but I just want to talk about this too. We don't talk a lot about trades and trade ideologies on the podcast, which we'll talk more about maybe after our trade deadline, which I think ours is November 21st in our league. I thought about this. I thought about it this weekend because I offered a trade to somebody, and they rejected it. So if you have 5 running backs on your team, Wes, and it's not you, by the way. I know you had at one point like 3 or 4 on your team on your roster, but if you have 5 running backs on your roster, and you have not used 2 of those guys, and let's just say they're producing, maybe not the greatest numbers in the world, but they're producing. If I come to you with a trade, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but asking a king's ransom for guys you're never using, to me, you're devaluing those guys by never playing them and keeping them on your bench.
Well, I mean, it's called depth.
It's a what?
It's called depth. All it takes is one injury. With all the injuries going on this year,
no, I get that, but if you've never used these guys, and someone who needs a running back comes to you, you know, and actually helping you out with the need that you have, and then they say to you, no, this guy wanted me to give him Justin Herbert for McKinnon. I'm like,
McKinnon?
Yeah. I'm like,
No.
Right. I'm like, you know, show me value, dude. Like, are you serious? Like, value for value. You know.
Like I said, if I'm giving up Herbert, I'm looking up the higher running back ranks who you got. Like, dude, don't go for it like this. Herbert is a top 10 quarterback. You not
right,
even
and
a top 30 running back.
We've talked about if it's not Mahomes or it's not, you know, Russell Wilson or stuff like that. You know, you can kind of streamline quarterbacks most of the time. But when you got a gem in like for instance, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is putting up plus, you know, north of 20 every week.
Yes.
You know, Justin Herbert is going north of 30 every week. Don't tell me he's not valued at, you know, at a, you know, I don't know. I give me a top tier running back right now.
Mid-tier running back, I would say, because running backs are just more valuable, man. At the end of the day, like in our league, that's how it's all rated. It's all running backs are the cream of the crop. There's not many. If you look at almost everybody's team, almost nobody has two good running backs or two for sure number ones, right? Maybe one or two players do, and that's because they got lucked out and got them in like the 5th round because everybody thought they weren't going to do nothing. They're popping off. Right. You know, like Antonio Gibson's playing well right now. You know, somebody like that's been producing lately, and nobody thought he was going to do anything when, you know, earlier in the season. He was an 8th, 9th round pick in most drafts. So, yeah, I mean, it's all on how it's that. Like in my league and my big money league that I'm the commissioner of, there has been no trades allowed for the last 2 weeks. Every trade is vetoed. You know why? Because no one wants to see nobody else get better when everybody's 3 and 4 after week 7, right? There's
right. When there's a cluster right there.
We had one team 6-1. We had 2 teams 5-2. 1 team 4-3. 6 teams 3 and 4, and then the other 2 are 2 and 5. That's how competitive the league is. And so those 6 teams that are all fighting right there, they're basically fighting for maybe 3 playoff spots, 2 to 3 playoff spots, right?
Right.
Left, because the other ones are kind of running away. And guess what? I don't want to see you get better because that's going to hurt my chances of making the playoffs. So that's how kind of it is, and everybody's vetoing everything. Like literally, everybody keeps trying to put trades through. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. And you can't do nothing about it. That's what we agreed to in the beginning of the year is, hey, 6 vetoes, there's no trade goes through. And every trade is vetoed. Literally every trade for the last 2 weeks. Okay. And ours finishes like on the 10th or the 14th or something like that. And ours is already pretty much done.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just, you know, I'm a guy that I like to trade if I can. I try not to come at somebody. And I look at it from, like, you and I traded. I gave you Fulgham.
Yeah.
Right? I think you gave me extreme value back.
Oh, it was a great trade. It was an even trade.
I mean, Wes, you and I traded last week. You know, it was a very even trade.
I think on that one. I think he got over on you on that one.
What do you mean?
I think Wes pulled a fast one on you.
Why? Why do you say that?
Who was it? Who was the trade again? Was it Mixon or Boyd?
Mixon for Claypool.
Yeah, I think Mixon's way better. But no, it was another trade. Who you traded? You traded Boyd for who?
Well, I needed a running back. For Gurley.
Great. Oh, Gurley.
Yeah, you see, I thought he got over on that one, boy, because Boyd is balling out of his mind.
So, but hey, Gurley has the most touchdowns of any running back. Well, going into that last week,
yes,
he had the most touchdowns.
Yeah,
dude, I was depleted. I was depleted at running back. You know, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But again, but see, that's the thing with me that I think, and look, I'm no fan. Well, I am a fantasy guru. With me, I'm not afraid to get rid of a big name to get something in return that's going to help me, because you got to look at the bigger picture. Look at my wide receivers. I mean, when healthy, Galladay, AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Boyd. I mean, I had a plethora, and he came to me. He was like, "Hey, man, I know you asked me about running backs. I need a wide receiver. How about Gurley for Boyd?" I'm like, "Let's do it." And
Oh,
so
no,
I did it.
I believe me. I know value. Look at in my other league, I traded Jefferson and Pirine for Josh Jacobs. It's a very even trade. I'm actually losing because I'm giving him a running back. Issue is I don't have many running backs in that league. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like I needed a back so bad that I had to give up a really good pair to get him.
You talked about running backs and the lack of them. Wes, you brought up the Packer game this week. No Jamal Williams, no AJ Dillon. We don't know about Aaron Jones yet. They're talking about Dexter Williams from the practice squad and Irving.
Another guy, yeah.
Like, if I'm playing the Packers this week, who are they playing on Thursday?
San Fran.
I'm stocking everything against those receivers, because I'm not afraid of anyone running on me in that game, But anyway, let's real quick talk about, that's a good segue into, this week's matchups. We got the Thursday night game, the Packers and the 49ers. They're going to be, whatever game it'll be a Thursday. It probably will be a Thursday night game, as we all know and hate them to be.
Hey, wait till you get the Monday's game.
Yeah, I saw that. That's yeah.
It's like New England and the Jets. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Who do the Jets have to pay to get onto Monday Night Football?
I think a good game on Sunday is going to be the Ravens and the Colts. I think that's going to be a good game.
That has potential to be a good game. Man. I think the Bears Titans will be a good game. That seems to have all the writings to be a pretty good game. I think the Chiefs are going to destroy the Panthers.
I mean, there's not much else there, man. I mean, you can't look at this. You can't look at this week and say, I see this team upsetting this team, really.
Right.
Because the ones that are like you think will be an upset, they're both like 5-2, like the Colts and the Ravens, right? Some people will say the Colts is an upset if they win, but they're at home and they have the same exact record. It's not really an upset.
Right.
So, and like the Saints and the Bucks, I mean, that's not really an upset whoever wins that game.
So let me ask you, if CMC comes back, do they have a chance to beat the Chiefs?
No. I think CMC goes off. Actually, we'll talk about that in the Yes Ma'am, No Ma'am, but CMC's coming back, they said. He was ready last week. They just held him out because it was Thursday night.
All right, well, you know what? No time like the present. Let's do it. This week, it's everyone's favorite segment. I hear a lot about it. Everyone loves it. It's my favorite segment. I know it's y'all's too. It's the Yes Ma'am, No Ma'am, baby. Gee, you're in charge of writing the stuff down. Let's recap last week real quick.
No, we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we do. That, man. Hey, who am I? Real quick, my yes ma'am man of the week.
I have no idea. I
didn't
pull it up, man.
Mitch, I don't know if you were serious, but it was Kenny G. You had like 9 catches, 180-something yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Guru.
But I don't even know if you were serious.
Who was his quarterback, though?
I don't know.
Who was my quarterback? Yeah,
I don't have the quarterback down. But I got that.
I think
Darren Waller.
I think I did. Did I pick Joe? I may have picked Joe.
No, Joe was 2 weeks ago. Don't try to.
You didn't pick Joe. I know mine's though, and I'll tell you mine's real quick because I keep my paper from last week. But I had David Carr, who obviously played in 37-mile-per-hour winds, and they ran the ball like the whole game, 30-something carries. I mean, he had like 20 pass attempts. So, yeah, he didn't do anything for me. He did throw a touchdown, though. That wasn't a touchdown. That counted as a touchdown. So, I had Miles Sanders and Crowder, who both didn't play. Richard Rodgers, I started him because they said Goddard was on IR, and
he shows up.
and then Goddard plays. So, I guess you can count that as an L. And then I picked Lamar Jackson as my sit-em, and he didn't do that great. I think he had 20. I think he had 20. Ronald Jones, he didn't do anything. He had like 6. And I think I had somebody else.
Well,
I had Hawkinson, who I shouldn't have started, who I shouldn't have said that. But.
So Wes had the greatest statement of all time. He on a text message, group text that we have with me, him, and his family from a league that we're in together. After Cam had his Cam kind of day, Wes is like, I hope he didn't wear anything real fancy because they're gonna lambaste his ass. So that was definitely the quote of the week, by the way, Wes. So shout out to you, man. Well, I'm gonna start it off, man. If we're gonna talk about the yes ma'am starts of the week,
Quarterback.
I think I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna try this week to stay away from anyone obvious. So I'm gonna go with Danny Dimes in Washington.
Washington got a good defense, man.
Hey, listen, this is my pick. I'm not gonna go into a 5-hour explanation. I'm just gonna say I like Danny Dimes this week. It's a short week for him. He's very upset. I like him. I like him this week
against the number 1 defense. If he does great, man, that's a hell of a pick, Mitch. Number 1 pass defense in the league, Washington.
Guru. Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Oh,
all right,
wow.
G, you're up next.
I'm going Deshaun Watson, man. Okay. Jacksonville's bottom 5 in both rush and pass D, giving up the 4th most fantasy points to quarterbacks this season. I think he's going to have a field day, man. 4 total touchdowns, 350 yards passing, 350 total yards.
Dude, save that for bold prediction, man.
I just see that happening. I got a bold prediction, but that's what I see happening.
Yeah. Wes, give me your quarterback, buddy.
Can I give 2?
No, 1.
All right, I'm going to give you a 1A and 1B. My 1A is Cam Newton. I'm riding with you again, Cam.
My. You're going to shit on my.
Hold up.
Wait, no. You're going to crap
the Jets,
on my
man.
pick.
Playing the Jets.
And you're going to damn say that evil name, Cam Newton. Are you serious?
Yes. Wrong segment.
Serious?
Wrong segment. But I'm going Cam. I know they ain't got no weapons, but they really, really, really need this win.
Let me tell you something. Hey, hold on a second.
Right, if I can't use Cam,
mark my words. If Cam shits the pan this week, my "Are you serious?" is to this man right there, buddy. Right there. That's my "Are you serious?" So, who's your 1B? Let's hear this gem.
It was Drew Lock. I think he's getting healthier, and they play Atlanta. I think they
you see him doing the dance on the sideline? That was awesome.
Hey, exactly. If you can do a dance, hey, I'm with you.
He was grooving, baby. All right, G, give me your running back, yes ma'am of the week.
CMC, baby.
CMC, okay.
And I know it's obvious in this, but the guy hasn't played since week 2. Okay? Right. Hasn't played since week 2. KC has the 4th worst rush defense in the NFL, but I think they're going to be ahead, which eliminates him running the ball. If he's can run the ball early and keep Mahomes off the field, the game will be closer. But if they try to run a few times and then KC goes up 21-6 or something, then, the run game is over. But I think CMC is going to have a big day, 25 fantasy points. I think they're going to use him like they normally do. He's been out for 6-7 weeks already. So he's got to be ready to play. They said a 4 to 6 week timeline. He's way past that. He's got to be ready, man.
Okay. James, give me a running back, buddy.
All right, my 1A is
why we pick? No, you have to earn the
Case Edmonds. I'm worried because the Miami defense showed me something this week, and I was worried. I was like, man, am I going against Miami? But I'm going Chase Edmonds. I like the offense, and I like the way Chase looks without Kenyon Drake being a factor. I'm just worried about how that's going to look against that Miami defense because
Is he
I got
playing Kenyon Drake this week?
A little bit better. What?
Is Drake playing this week?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake is out for a few weeks at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, that's a good play because he catches the ball also.
Yeah, and my 1B, and you kind of took it from me. I was going. I want to go the Washington dude, but
Gibson.
Yeah, but I throw in Jacobs. I need him to get 100 and a touch. I need him to get 17.
Homer alert.
First time I picked him all year on the podcast.
You always pick someone from the Raiders.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah.
My running back of the week, and I was gonna pick this guy, but I'm gonna hold off because I'm gonna use this as my bold prediction for the week. But and I'm only going on this just because I think that he's due for a good game. I'm gonna go Zeke against Pittsburgh. I mean, the Ravens.
No.
Listen. You worry about your A, B, C's, and D's, and E, F, and G's. I'm picking one guy. The Baltimore Ravens had over 200 yards rushing.
One guy.
Listen, tough guy. Listen, you stick to your A, B, C, and C's. I'm gonna pick my one guy. All right. I just think. Look, dude, they got Jerry Jones's personal caterer as the quarterback this week. They're not throwing the ball.
That's the problem.
They're not throwing the ball.
You're down 21-0. You can't run the ball no more. You're done.
They will though.
You'll see this in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, sit on the entire Dallas football team. But I'm not gonna go A, B, or C. I'm just gonna go one guy. All right, Wes, give me a wide receiver. Give me your one wide receiver, yes, ma'am, of the week.
That's not fair. But I'm going one of those San Francisco wide receivers because
Ayuk, baby.
Which one? You gotta pick one, man. How about if I don't have both guys on my team?
You ain't got one A's and one B. We're picking one.
How about if I don't have one of them on my team? You got to tell me who I should start.
Yeah, I mean, you're not helping out.
I don't have them both. I only have one.
Kittle's out. Debo's out. They got to throw it to somebody. Like, I don't even know who San Francisco's starting lineup's going to be Thursday.
They got Bourne,
Ayuk,
Ayuk. Yeah, they got some guys.
Who the running back? Who's the quarterback?
Coleman and Hasty and
Nick Mullins.
And Tevin Coleman out. He hurt his knee again.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman's back out.
They still got McKinnon healthy.
Yeah.
All backups. All backups.
Well, I mean that's what they're dealing with. All right, we're gonna move on from you because you're
no love.
No love today.
Yours, Mitch.
No love. I'm going my stardom wide receiver, Marvin Hall. That's right. Not Aaron Hall.
Who in the blue hell are you?
Marvin Hall. He came in for Kenny Golladay last week and he had a pretty decent game.
Marvin Jones?
No, Marvin Jones. No, it's his last name is Hall. I believe I don't know if it's Marvin Hall. His last name is Hall.
Sorry.
Shut up. Okay. All I know is that kid, he's gonna have a good game. He has a good relationship with Stafford. Stafford likes him. He trusts him. Yeah, I'm going with him as my starter of the week because
Marvin
again,
Hall. Yeah, that is Marvin Hall. That is his name.
See that?
That is his name.
I'm gonna have to reevaluate. Listen, I'm gonna have to reevaluate your application down there, Mr. Eason. For podcast co-host.
I'm gonna go Allen Robinson, man.
That was one of my stardoms last week, by the way. You guys laughed at me. He had a pretty decent game. But
he had a touchdown.
Continue on.
I mean, Tennessee has a 27 ranked pass D. They've allowed 8 wide receivers to top 65 yards since their bye week, which was like week 4, right?
Yeah, when they had the COVID.
Yeah, in 4 weeks, 8 wide receivers got at least 65 yards. So they're not playing well right now.
No,
And
not at all.
Allen Robinson's going to capitalize with probably 7-8 catches, at least 100 yards and a touchdown. At least one touchdown. Big day, 25 at least.
Okay. All right, let's move on to tight ends.
I think it's me now, yeah.
Yeah, you start with tight ends.
Logan Thomas.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Logan Thomas, Washington.
Yeah.
New York Giants are allowing the 9th fewest fantasy points to tight ends this season. He's shown great rapport with Kyle Allen over the last 2 games. He got 8 targets, 7 catches, over 100 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games, 1 in each game. I think, again, he's going to get about 4 or 5 catches, 60, 70 yards, and a touchdown at least, which is really good right now for a tight end.
Okay. AB.
Listen, Genus, you took my 1B, Logan Thomas.
Perfect. So you're going to give us a 1A now.
Exactly. You only get 1A. That's all you get is a 1A.
All right. This is an oldie but a goodie. I'm giving you Jordan Reed. If Kittles is out, and if Jordan Reed is back, I'm going Jordan Reed.
Dude, like, no way.
He's
What are you
supposed
talking
to be back.
Dude, that dude sneezes, he's going to throw out his back, a break an ankle or something.
Dude, he's going to be playing the Kittle role. And
no,
Kittle
he's
role
not.
out
No,
there,
don't even dare say. Dude, you can't. Dude, he's horrid. He is the most fragile
Hey, let me have my
person.
pick, man.
Oh, no, but you're going to crap on my pick. I'm going to show
But
you
he
some
did
crap
have
on
one
your
big
pick.
game before he got hurt this year in
One.
Kittle's absence. He
One.
had like 16 or so, but he only played like 2.
One game. One game. One game. One friggin' game.
No, ma'am, sit him.
No,
No, you gotta give it to tight
I'm
end.
sorry,
You
I
gotta
thought
give
you
it
went
to
first, but I went first. Sorry.
but you know, Wes had A, B, C, D, E, F, and G on his players.
true.
So I am gonna go with Darren Waller. I just love the kid. He hopefully that there won't
I
be
think that's who
90
you went with
miles.
last week too.
And hey, he worked out well. He worked out okay.
6 fantasy points.
Hey man, he made a difference. But hopefully there won't be 90 mile per hour winds in Los
90
Angeles
mile per hour
this week.
winds.
So yeah. All right, so yeah, let's transition now to no. There's no way I'm starting this goober this week. I'm sorry, but you're on the bench. Make the Gatorade for the team, hand out some waters, be the Bobby Boucher of the team, and be the water boy.
That's cold.
Wes, I'm going to start with you. You're 1 quarterback, no ma'am, of the week.
It's Teddy. Teddy Two Gloves. And something inside me said they're going to have a good game, but I just don't like the way. I mean, he's got to get both receivers involved. If he can get Anderson, DJ, and now they got C-Mac coming back, then you may be coming back next week and say, hey, that was a bad call. But I don't know. I just don't see Teddy having a good game this week, or at least trying to keep up with that offense. They're going to get him in trouble.
I had him. I was highly considering saying Teddy as well. The reason I didn't was because of the garbage time. If KC builds a lead, he's going to have a lot of garbage time points, and in fantasy, it counts, right?
Yep.
So that's the only reason I left that one alone, was for that reason. But
and my 1B is Kirk Cousins.
He's got to throw it in there, doesn't he? He just has to throw it in there, and that's messed up because that was going to be one. I was going between.
Well, you tell us why. You tell us why, there.
I'll tell you why Kirk Cousins, because
Yeah.
I think the Lions are seeing that they can still try to possibly make the playoffs, and I think that they're going to come out and play some good ball this week. And you know, Kirk Cousins historically, whenever he throws for a low amount of when he has a low amount of pass attempts, he tries to overdo it the next week, because they're all going to be focusing on Dalvin Cook. He's going to try to overdo it, and he'll have a Kirk Cousins day. But I think it's going to be a bounce back week for this defense. So I'm going to go with no man sit him, the no man of the week, Nick Foles. I think the Titans are going to have a reality check this week. I think Vrabel's going to get in that ass and get them to get back on to track where they need to be. Because that team, when they're on hitting on all cylinders, they're one of the best teams in football, in my opinion.
Problem I think they have is they're the 27th worst pass defense in the league.
Yeah.
I think they have holes everywhere on defense, man.
Which is crazy because.
But Chicago doesn't put up a lot. If Chicago doesn't put up a lot, they just,
Well, they're back home. Look, there's a lot of things working in the Titans' favor. They're back home. They've suffered 2 losses to, 2 AFC teams in the same division. Your Browns haven't played them yet this year, have they?
Titans?
Yeah.
No, we play them week 12 or something.
Right. So I'm gonna go with my center will be Nick Foles.
I'm going Phillip Rivers, man.
Okay.
He's had 2 very good games, 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
32 and 28. Baltimore's allowing,
Is T.Y. out this week?
T.Y., I don't know. I know he was out
I don't
last
think
week.
it matters. I don't
think it matters, though. I mean, they're playing Baltimore without Marlon Humphrey, their best cornerback.
Yeah.
They're allowing the second fewest points in the NFL at 19 points per game or something like that. They're going to come in upset after losing to Pittsburgh. After I'm sure they thought they had that game in the books. They're going to force a few turnovers. Rivers doesn't have a good day. Baltimore takes advantage of it. I would bench Rivers especially if you have somebody else.
Real quick, I just want to speak on this real quick though. But I think Indy's defense is underrated. I think they got a pretty good defense. If they could pressure, Lamar the way that Pittsburgh pressured Lamar could have 2 really bad games back to back. So
they're not underrated.
Indy has the second best defense in the NFL.
Yeah. So I think Lamar is in for a bad week.
I didn't want to keep picking on Lamar, man. I picked him last week. That's why I didn't pick him again this week because I was going to pick him, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to pick on Lamar no more.
I hear you. I get you. My no ma'am running back, and I'm going to take a page out of the alphabet guy down there, the A, B, and C
Really?
guy. But I'm not going to name 2 guys. I'm just going to name. I would not start anyone on the Seahawks or the Bills this week. No running backs in that game.
Wow, wait a minute. No love for Singleton or Zach Moss?
None.
The Bills playing.
The Bills play the Seahawks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any running back in that game. That's my A quasi B. Moving on. Genus? I don't know. They're just I just don't like either sets of running backs in that matchup.
Buffalo has a terrible run D.
So does Seattle.
No, Seattle has like a top 5 run D.
Seattle's defense is terrible.
Not run defense.
Maybe their pass defense.
Their pass defense sucks. But I'm going Zeke Elliott, man. You got to sit him this week, guys. You got to sit him this week. Okay? Pittsburgh has the number 5 rush D. They're allowing the fewest fantasy points to running backs this season. Zeke is struggling without Dak.
They just got gashed
By more than one player with a good quarterback.
That's different. That's a different type of offense, man.
Listen to this. Gus had 80-something rushing yards. Dobbins had 113 rushing yards. Lamar Jackson had 65 rushing yards. Who's going to do that in Dallas? Nobody.
Zeke, baby. Tony Pollard and whatever that guy is quarterbacking, man.
This week, you are losing in fantasy. You are losing in fantasy if you start Zeke this week. I'm telling you.
I lose every week, so hey, why not?
But without Dak, he has struggled. Let's be honest. Ever since Dak has gone down, he hasn't done anything. Danucci or practice guy Cooper Rush, what are they going to do? I mean, this is absolutely
the unknown, baby. The unknown. Let's go, Cowboys. I don't know why I said that.
I don't like it. Against the Steelers at that.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, I get you. All right, so who's wide receiver? Is that me?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I'm not
you?
gonna...
Oh boy.
No, I'm running back. Hold on.
You gotta do is running back. Then I do the receiver.
All right. So my 1B running back is David
Jesus.
Montgomery.
All right, moving on.
my 1A running back is Melvin Gordon. If he keep on fumbling, My man, what's the other dude? The light skin. I said the light skin.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Look, you are not on point tonight. I just want to say this, yeah. Hey,
I don't know
viewers,
why I can't get my plays together.
listen, hold on one second. I want to address our viewers for a second. To all of our millions, and I mean millions of viewers out there, I want to apologize on behalf of James Wesley Easton this evening. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he got the election blues. I don't know what's going on. But, I apologize for him. Please.
But
no hate emails.
Lindsay,
No hate emails.
I think it's been playing better than him the last 2 weeks.
He has.
And Melvin Gordon fumbled again, and I think it's a matter of time before. Well, I don't even know it's a matter of time because I think they paid Gordon some money. So, and I think it's going to be a 50-50 timeshare moving forward.
Okay. All right, G, give me your wide receiver, bud.
Amari Cooper, man, I got to stay in Dallas. Sorry, Amari Cooper. Pretty much any of the.
I told y'all
Dallas
last week
receivers,
to get off of Dallas. Dallas is done.
But I say Amari Cooper. I mean, and you can't really say get off him because for example, like CeeDee Lamb had like 13 fantasy points last week.
Did he?
Somebody's going to get the ball. Somebody's going to get the ball regardless, right? You're going to throw at least 150 yards a game. The worst quarterback is going to throw at least 100, especially when you're losing by 20. You're going to have to throw the ball only. You're going to get yards. Somebody got to catch the yards. I just don't think it's going to be Amari Cooper this week. Again, Pittsburgh 7th in pass D, but they're giving up the 8th most fantasy points to wide receivers. I think guys like Schultz, guys like CD, guys like Pollard are going to get those little dink and dunk catches, and Amari doesn't get those targets that he normally would get because of just the newness of the quarterback, of a Cooper Rush or trying to process the speed of the NFL, man. It's just not going to work, dude.
Just feed him. Feed him, baby. All right, I'm going to go. My wide receiver sit-em of the week is going to be Devontae Parker. I think that Patrick Peterson is going to be all over his ass all weekend, all game long. I think I just don't see it. I think that they have a pretty damn good defense out there in Arizona, and it's Tua's second game, and I hope good for Tua. I want to see him play good. I mean, I like the kid. I think it's a good story. He's a good kid. He's one of those kids that never gets in trouble, and he knew his role. I think the way that the organization did Fitzpatrick was a little dirty, but it is what it is. But it's Tua time. But I think he has a pretty tough matchup this week. So unless the defense is putting them in good positions to score points, if they continue to do well, that defense, and they're putting him in, giving him a short field to work with, then I could see him just lighting it up. But I would sit Devontae Parker this week. All right, AB.
All right. My no ma'am sit of the week is my 1B, and I'm just trying to figure out which week it is for which one of them is going off.
Jesus, did he clear this with you before the podcast today? He didn't clear this with me either, man. So
Tyler Lockett is my 1B, and if not him, it's going to be DK Metcalf because they both go off opposite weeks of each other. So if DK went off last week, that means DK is going to have a bad week this week, and Lockett's going to go off this week. So I guess my sit is going to be DK Metcalf, which is a stretch.
By process of elimination.
By process of elimination.
I got you. I hear you. All right. Well, let's do tight ends then. Let's go straight into the tight ends then. Wes,
want me to go first?
Oh, I'll let you go first.
3 of them. I got like 3 of them.
No, you got one of them. You're on the clock right now, sir.
All right. So my one is Gesicki. I just don't know how they're going to use the tight ends now. And he's the one, and he hasn't been having a good last couple of weeks.
Right.
He's my sit, and I know he's probably top 15 tight end. He'd probably get you about.
No more.
He's trying to fall off.
But I'm just saying,
not 30 no more.
That's what I'm saying. The last 2-3 weeks, he just kind of fell off. And now with the quarterback change, I was trying to watch something when Miami played the Rams, but he didn't do enough to kind of see how he was going to work that offense.
No targets, no nothing. Yeah, man. He's terrible.
Exactly. So I'm like, he's droppable. I'm not saying he's a sit, but he's droppable at this point.
I'm gonna take a page out of G's book, and I'm gonna go with Schultz for Dallas. I mean, I see them using him and their other tight end as straight blockers the entire weekend. So that would be my idea.
Possible.
Yeah.
I'm going Mark Andrews, man. The
He's
Colts
falling
defense.
off.
The Colts defense has not allowed a touchdown to a tight end this year, and they've given up the fewest points to the position.
Wow.
I see a repeat of the last 2 weeks, where he's gotten 4 and 6 fantasy points. If you have a better option, use it, man. Don't start him.
There are no more better options. There are no more options.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's true. There ain't many.
There's not a lot of guys out
Especially
there.
when you get them in the second or third round, like most people got Andrews in the second or third round.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. All right, well, that was a good. I mean, we didn't know that we were getting multiple picks from Wes this week, which was good. Thank you, Wes, for helping the viewers out. Good job. As always, we'll kind of circle back around next week when we.
He was trying to take all the picks. He should have.
Next
guys too.
Yeah, Wes, next week just feel like when it gets to no man, when we get to yes ma'am, no man, we be like, I got everybody, and you guys have nobody. So,
he's like, well, in his mind, he's like, well, the more people I say, I got to get one of them right.
Right. Eventually, they get somebody right. Or not be one of your guys that he's been taking every week.
Well, that's why we just got to let him go last when he does his 1A, 1B. Like, you got to go last. You can't be stealing our picks too, man.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about no, ma'am. I'm gonna go over it real quick.
You don't want to hear this part.
Yeah, this is bad. But
none of us.
Yeah, I mean,
whole podcast.
Right now, Wes, you're holding on the 5th spot. My dad's in 6th. G, you're in 7th. I'm in 8th. 3 and 5. You guys are 4 and 4. I mean, it's right there though. I mean, you got Lewis is at 7 and 1. Shout out to Lou, I guess.
Lewis killing it, man.
He is. Carlos is 6 and 2. My brother's 5 and 3. Devin's 5 and 3. Then you got the cluster 3 guys at 4 and 4. You got 3 guys at 3 and 5, and Kelly is 2 and 6, so he's got some wins on the board. Yeah, it was bad.
I'm gonna predict this real quick right now, Mitch.
Okay.
Once my boys come back, once I get somewhat healthy, don't let me sneak into the playoffs again because I'm about to get hot like I did last year. Watch. I'm telling you right now. If I sneak in the playoffs, I'm getting hot like I did last year, and everybody's out of it.
Okay.
I got the team. They just don't play any week because they all hurt.
Dude, look. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, what we'll do with this, we won't talk a lot about last week's. We'll just move into the future for next week, for this upcoming week. But I'm gonna talk about my game. I lost by 4 points to Butch. Shout out to Butch, big bro. Love you, baby, but go to hell. Kenny Golladay. I got no points out of him. No points. If I get 5 out of him before he goes out, I win. But I'm winning, and I'm like, there's Russell Wilson, 36 points he got out of Russell. But the rest of his team played like crap. I had 22 out of Cooper Kupp. I had 10 out of Gurley, 10 out of Gordon, 12 out of A.J. Brown, 22. I mean, I suck. My team is terrible. My team is injured. I mean, I'm going to take over your name if you don't mind. When you decide to get rid of that IR name, may I have permission to use it? Because my team is
my team is just come off IR. You can have it because man, I changed my name to Team IR because I mean everybody's injured on my team, dude.
Yeah.
And hopefully I get CMC back. Miles Sanders hopefully comes back next week out of the bye, ready to play. Hopefully, Goddard hopefully comes out of the bye, ready to play. Right. Now I got Fulgham. Now I'm overstacked on one team, picking everybody on the same team, but. It is what it is. I think I have a solid squad once they get healthy, man.
Well, then we'll go into your game. I mean, shit, you lost by 3 points. I mean, you lost. But I lost by 4. You lost by 3.
Lowest scoring games in the whole league. Like it's terrible, dude. We had 100 to 103.
Yeah.
Like.
This is
I was mentioning my brother were the lowest.
Yeah, we were the lowest. We had 90. I had 91. He had 95. I had 91.
Oh yeah, 95, 91. Wow, yeah,
You
y'all
had
beat
100.
that's sad.
What the hell, man? Hey, I lost by 4. You lost by 3.
I mean,
But,
I thought mine was the worst, and then now I look at it, it's like, man, you were worse than me. That's sad.
Wes
I was
lost
feeling
by
sad for myself.
Wes. I'll let you talk about your 20-point loss to my brother. Shout out to
Nothing to talk
Lee.
about. I played Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Nothing to talk about.
That's true. 47.
That
I mean,
is true.
you know, 47. Put any other quarterback in, he might win.
Exactly.
You're 100% right. Well, this week, it's probably not going to be any better for me. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, I got Lewis this week. You know,
Don't say that.
I mean, I'm going at it full force, man. I'm going to try to make some trades. I'm going to try to sneak around this week. You know, hopefully tomorrow I get the waiver wire works well for me. I'm going to pick me in that game. Obviously, I never pick against myself. You guys want to chime in? More than welcome to. We got a good match. My dad versus Butch. The 6th and the 9th spot. I'm gonna go my dad, man. Big Stu's been on a little bit of a tear. You know, he lost last week, but he's been on a tear, man. So, that should be an interesting matchup. I think this is probably maybe the match. It should be the matchup of the week is Devin versus Carlos. Big Chips versus Colombian 6. You got the 4 spot and playing the 2 spot. So that has a lot of playoff implications.
Well, we need the 4 spot to lose, so I'm going for Colombia.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I'd rather see Devin.
We all need the 4 guy or the 5 and 3 guy to lose to be 5 and 4, and especially me and Wes, we could probably be 5 and 4 with him. We'll still be probably losing by points, but we'll still be there.
Yeah, and then you got my
1 victory.
You got my brother versus Kenny. Number 3 versus number 12. Really.
We should know what happens there.
We think we know what's going to happen with that. We got Wes versus Kelly. Wes, you want to speak on this, baby?
No, you're trying to jinx me. But yeah, my only concern is he's got that Tampa Bay stack, but with all these guys coming back, maybe Brady spreads it around.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in my game, it's the game, the Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, that is
between
the
me and
championship.
Marshall.
We may have to. Hey, if you beat his ass
Wow,
again,
that's right. Championship game rematch.
If you beat his ass again, I might try to get him on the podcast next week just to kind of, throw salt into the wound a little bit.
Make sure you wait till like Monday though to ask him, just in case. No.
What Tuesday morning when I wake up and I look at the results, I'll be like, hey Marshall,
Yeah, it's a rematch. We'll see how it goes, man. I mean, like I said, if CMC comes back, which he's supposed to, I think I'll be okay, man. But we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna do what's becoming my favorite segment because I've been pretty good at it lately. We're gonna do some bold predictions for the week. And fantasy wise, and how it's gonna implicate within the NFL. I'm going to start it off. I got a good one, I think. I'm pretty excited about it. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Hey, Wes, bring it a little closer. Because you had him in a no man for this week. Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon are going up against each other this week. Each of them are going to have over 120 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Lock it.
No way. No way.
Each.
No way.
I mean, yeah, write that down. I would write that down.
What'd you say? Both 2 touchdowns and 150?
No.
120.
Both of them over 120 yards rushing, and both 2 touchdowns. Bold prediction.
That was damn bold there. That's bold.
Very bold. Very bold.
I don't think either one of them has got over 120 yards this year.
My bold prediction.
Melvin Gordon did 1 game. He had like 150.
My bold prediction.
They both touchdown dependents.
Stop hating on my bold prediction.
My bold prediction.
Do I got to bring up Joe Burrow from 2 weeks ago?
My bold prediction this week. both Brady and Breeze, they're playing each other.
Okay.
They're going to combine for at least 650 yards,
Woo.
7 touchdowns combined.
What the hell?
Shootout.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yes.
Does AB get in the end zone?
If Brady's the one that throws 4, I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, hell no. I'm playing against Brady. I don't need him to throw 4 touchdowns.
But I think, you know why? Because, and the reason I say that is because they are both right there neck and neck for the passing touchdown, which Brady just overtook him by 1 last night.
Wow, that's right. He did take him. He went
So
back
they're
into the
going
lead.
back and forth. And I
Right.
think this is the game where they both show I'm going to be the touchdown winner. And they're going to throw a
Okay.
lot of touchdowns this week.
Okay, I like that. That may be my favorite bowl prediction of the year so far. So good job on that one. Hey, sir, it's your turn down there, sir. Give me your bowl prediction of the week, if you don't mind. No A or B, you get 1. It's not bowl
My
prediction. It's not bowl predictions. It's bowl prediction of the week.
Aaron Rodgers will throw 3 touchdowns against the 49ers. Now, that's not even bold. No Packers running back will run a touchdown on Thursday.
Even if Aaron Jones comes back.
He's not coming back.
Oh,
They said he might.
they're saying he might come back this week, dude. They're gonna have if he's look. They said that he needed to get
They calling up Ahmad Green and Eddie Lacy to see if they got any tread left.
You're out of your mind, dude. No, he actually got a practice in today. He was limited in practice today, so they said if he could get in practice tomorrow, a full practice tomorrow, then they say he's probably going to play on Thursday. But I don't think I like that prediction though. But again, you never know. The unknown having no tape on somebody always comes back to bite people in the butt sometimes. So, well, look, man, I want to thank you both as always. My two of my most favorite guys in the whole wide world. Honestly, I mean, you guys
Week
are
8.
just gems of people. Love you guys. Next week this time we will have maybe a new president, maybe the same president. I don't know. Just to kind of give everyone an update. Joe Biden's winning 209 to 118. It's the 4th quarter. I don't know. I think Donald Trump.
Hold up. My bold prediction, Donald Trump's going to pull some shit out that it's not legit. He gonna pull some type of card out that, hey, this is some BS.
he's already said that if he loses, he's going to contest it. So, but no, I think Donald Trump is in foul trouble right now. It's late in the 4th quarter. His team's losing 209 to 118. So we'll see. We'll see what's going down. But guys, thank you for a great week. I wish you both
Have a good one, man.
all the luck in the world in your matchups this week. From
Yes, sir.
Your fam. Peace
All
out,
right.
baby. Love y'all.
Later.